Welcome into Groomer's Take. Like we do every Tuesday, we're going to go through NFL Week 7 game by game. Maybe a little hit from each game. Maybe a couple other little storylines that are in the world right now. Fantasy football-wise, doesn't really matter right now. We're only a little bit through the season. Gambling-wise, well, you'd have to tune in Sundays before the NFL starts to get some of my bets. We had a pretty good week. We had an even better week because of Jonathan Taylor and the Sunday Nighter. Saturday was awful, but that had nothing to do with football. That was all hockey, and it was a hot garbage fire. Here we go. Denver 14, Thursday Nighter, Cleveland 17. I got this game wrong. I was very wrong on it. We got to remember here, people, Case Keenum was a pretty good quarterback when he was with Minnesota. He can get the job done, and that's exactly what he did this game. 17-14, yeah, close game, but what also Cleveland had was D'Ernest Johnson, third string QB on the RB on the depth chart, and he got the job done. I want to say it was over 120 yards running. On the Denver side, you know, I like so much about them, but really what I started coming back to today is, why isn't Philip Lindsay still there? Why did they let him go? They chose Melvin Gordon III instead, and I just like the way Philip Lindsay was a north and south runner. He was a bulldozer. He put his head down and went. It doesn't matter now, but really that's what I like. And I really like Teddy Bridgewater, but ultimately this isn't going to work. I don't think he's a full bona fide starting quarterback in the NFL for a winning team. Back on the Cleveland side, OBJ. Wow. I mean, I think I saw him fall over twice. What fantasy value out the window, really on the field and in the NFL on a team. It's not working, and I'm repeating myself again with the Browns, but maybe it's time to just let him go. He's not being used. He looks awful. Go get something. I want to watch OBJ play really good football, and it's just not happening in Cleveland anymore. It's weird. Carolina Panthers 3, New York Giants 25. Whoa. Didn't see this coming either. Carolina needs CMC back. There's no real, they kind of tease us, whether it's fantasy value or if you're a Panthers fan. They tease us on when he's going to come back. We have no idea. And the Giants looked really good. They spread that ball. Danny Dimes spread that ball around. Booker on the running back side looked fine. It was kind of just a balanced game by the Giants, and really their defense won this game for them. Sam Darnold was benched halfway through or whatever it was. Carolina needs a quarterback real bad. Atlanta Falcons 30, Miami 28. Of course we're still going to talk about bets. I have to. We're going to do it as we go through. I loved the money line on the Falcons here, and I will have to say I kind of piggybacked on something I saw online with this game. I can't remember the numbers I looked at, but the number felt good for the money line, and Miami is trending downward. They are one of my most disappointing teams in the NFL this year. And Kyle Pitts starting to put his hand up. Hey, I'm here. Let's go, baby. 7 receptions for 163 yards. No touchdown, but those are going to come. Atlanta squeaks one through. Good game there. Washington 10, Green Bay 24. Green Bay just continues to roll. They haven't lost it since week 1. They look really good. The Washington side, I like Washington a lot. They just don't get the job done the way that you have to win football games. Devontae Adams is in COVID protocol. This is a short week for them. They play Thursday against the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. It's really questionable whether Devontae Adams will be able to show 2 negative COVID tests since then. And this is weird to me. Yes, anybody can test positive for COVID even when you're double vaxxed. It just means your body's fighting it off a lot easier when you are double vaxxed. So, I mean, I don't know. We're going to get to a point, hopefully, where you don't have to get tested every day. And just because you have it doesn't mean you have to stay away from people, because it's people's jobs to get the vaccine. I can't get into that. So hopefully Devontae Adams comes back for Green Bay, because especially this is a huge game. This is a spicy Thursday nighter we're going to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. And I mean, Green Bay's either losing their second game of the season, or the Cardinals are losing their first game of the season. It's beautiful. Green Bay wins 6 in a row. Could it be 7? We're going to find out. And of course, if you're Devontae Adams owner in any fantasy league, your fingers are crossed. Cincinnati 41, Baltimore 17. I had no idea who to pick on this game. I did pick Baltimore just because they were at home, but I did not expect a blowout like this. And really, ultimately, what I'm going to focus on here, Baltimore didn't want to lose that game going into their bye week, but they're going to come out of their bye week absolutely on fire. My biggest takeaway here, and it has been for this whole season now, is that Burrow-Chase connection. It is massive. It is working. And Chase is a money-making machine on the gambling side right now. We keep beating the books, and I am loving it. Burrow looks for real. The Cincinnati is a good run game. The defense I don't really know about, but hey, if you're holding Baltimore to 17 points and you're kind of calming down Lamar Jackson, it's working. But this 41-17 final is not something I was expecting at all, and it's huge. They're both 5-2 now, I believe, and that battle's going to be pretty massive, especially if Cleveland can figure it out. I don't think the Steelers will be around to really stick their head in there to compete for the division. But hey, you never know. New York Jets 13, New England 54. Talk about spreading the ball. New England did it very, very well, both on the throwing side and the running side. Poor Zach Wilson left the game. I think it was a knee injury. And just yesterday, the Jets are bringing back Joe Flacco to start for the next couple weeks. But, I mean, the Jets are just awful. They're just awful. They've been awful for so long, and they're going to continue doing that. Really, I don't even know where all these 54 points came from. I assume maybe from the defensive side too. But, this is really just thanks for the win every time you play the Jets. Am I right? Here's something you would be shocked if I said it. Kansas City, 3 points total in a football game. 3. Tennessee had 27. We've talked about KC a little bit here on the program. What the heck are they? Their defense is just horrible. It's absolutely terrible. The offense isn't clicking. It did click in the first few weeks. It seems a little bit lost right now. And really, Mahomes is running for his life, and he got hurt. It looked like he got banged up pretty good on that play. He left the game. But Mahomes is going to do whatever he has to do to play in the next game. But that O-line, I mean, you got to protect him. You can't have your franchise running around for his life every single snap. It's just not going to work. But more looking at the Tennessee side, I don't think Henry ran for that many yards. It was in the 60s or something, which is shocking. If you're going to say that the Tennessee Titans beat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-3, you would think that Henry had a big piece to do it. There's a big reason to do it, but not so much here. The Titans are just a very well-oiled machine right now. Defense has been looking a lot better, and on the offense, Tannehill looks good. He's got a lot of different weapons to throw to, and they're really keeping every defense on their toes, making them second-guess. The Tennessee Titans have beaten Buffalo and KC in back-to-back weeks now. That is something that is very impressive to me, and I'm sure it is to all of you. Detroit Lions 19, LA Rams 28. Of course, that spread was massive when this game started. Jared Goff going back home, pretty good outing, but really a pretty good outing is what you're going to expect from Jared Goff now, unfortunately, in his football career. The LA Rams kind of looked the way we've all expected them to look, which is pretty darn good. They kept Detroit in it a bit longer than I thought they were going to, but hey, a 28-19 win is a 28-19 win, and now I'm really just focusing on this Thursday with the Cards. The Rams and the Cards are going to be battling out for that division title. It's going to be very exciting to watch. The Philadelphia Eagles, I think I'm going to put them alongside my Miami Dolphins with one of the most disappointing teams so far this season. The throwing game isn't there. Their running back game is nothing. Miles Sanders is now hurt. You're going to see a lot of Gainwell, at least for the next week, but I don't expect to see much of any running game. They just don't have it. Jalen Hurts looks okay, but let's talk more about the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, it was a lot of balanced attack in the running game, using Jacobs, using Drake. The receivers were all, I think there was 7 different receivers with 10 plus yards. That seems like a lot. I could be wrong on that. But Las Vegas Raiders 2-0 since Gruden's departure. And I want that for this team. I like watching teams battle through the dark side of stuff. And that seems to be what the Raiders are doing. And I love watching them play in Vegas. How the hell has sports not been in Vegas for so long? It's mind-boggling to me, but fun little game there. Oh, and of course, if you watched my brain fart that I had, I forgot to pick my Survivor pick that week, so I was given the home team with the smallest spread. That was the Las Vegas Raiders. Dodged a bullet. We're moving forward into next week, and I think I'm taking... I wrote it down earlier. I'm going between two teams. I don't really remember who they are right now. My light just turned off. That's not what you want to see. Please don't do that again. We're live here, people. Not live, but this is one shot. These are one-shot takes here on Groomer's Take. We don't mess around. Houston Texans 5, Arizona 31. The only real thing I'm going to take away from this is that someone at work told me a guy bet that the first points of the game were going to be scored by Houston on a safety, and I think that's, or against them, and I think maybe that's what happened. I mean, I don't believe that unless you're going to show me the ticket, but that's pretty cool. What I am taking away from this game, because Arizona Cardinals have been doing Arizona Cardinals thing, they're undefeated, but Zach Ertz, touchdown in his first game with the Cards. That is going to be a lethal offense moving forward. They've kind of got a 1-2 punch with the running back system with Edmonds and Connor, and then their wideouts are their wideouts, and now you add Zach Ertz. They're playing a lot better defense than they did last year. Cardinals are for real. Chicago Bears 3, Tampa Bay 38. We'll talk a little bit about the Bears here first. Their defense is good. Obviously, you're going up against Tampa Bay and Brady and all that, and this game had a lot more meaning that I didn't know about, which I'll get to in a second. But Chicago's lost on offense. You hear it on the best show in the world, PTI, Mike Wilbon, saying this coach has to go, the GM has to go. And while I'm here, I want to give a shout out to PTI. It's the best show in the world. It's my favorite show in the world. Tony and Mike have the best job in the world, and they just reached their 20-year anniversary of PTI last week. It's awesome to see. And ESPN or whoever it was came out with a 4-part series on Spotify, giving us a bit more of the backstory and in-depth look on how the show started, interviews with Tony and Mike, shout-outs from some of the other guys like Frank Isola, Tony Reale from the past. I'm done the first 2 parts now, and I love it. I get emotional talking about it because it's just, I love those 2 guys. I've never met them before in my life. I'll probably never meet them, but they're fantastic. So shout out to them on 20 years. So back to the Tampa Bay side now. 600 touchdowns for Tom Brady. He's thrown 600 touchdowns in the NFL. It's the first guy to do it in NFL history. Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue to roll. My favorite part of all this is Mike Evans is the guy who caught the touchdown, I believe, and he gave the ball to a fan. And then this is the best part. They go up to the fan and they say, "This is what we'll give you for that ball back." It was like $1,000 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers store. Signed shoes, signed helmet, signed different ball, yada, yada, yada. That fan screwed up. This is the first 600th touchdown pass in NFL history in your hands. Give me $500,000 and you can have this ball back. That's what I would have done. It was your lottery ticket to debt-free living, maybe for the rest of your life, depending on how you work it. Mistake. Fail. Poor guy. Anyways, Indianapolis Colts 30, San Fran 18. Talk about getting it wrong. This was the Rain Bowl, first off, on Sunday night. Absolute Rain Bowl. Both quarterbacks threw for 100 and change yards because they just couldn't hang on to the damn thing. The running game was there, though, because Elijah Mitchell and Jonathan Taylor both ran for exactly 107 yards each. But ultimately, it was Indy on top. I had San Fran. I believe Abby did too. My whole take on it was this is the start of San Fran's playoffs. This loss, Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know if you're the guy. It's weird. And here I am sitting here saying, like, all of a sudden Carson Wentz looks like he's going to be just fine as a quarterback. He's quietly doing it. Indy is right in the thick of things. We're just about halfway through the season here, and I think this is the end of the 49ers. Not overall, but maybe for this season. I think they have decisions to make on their roster, and hopefully they do it. New Orleans 13 in the Monday Nighter, Seattle 10. This game was slow. It was slow, but at least it was competitive. I enjoyed watching it. Really, the only big play of the game for Seattle was on the first drive, or really early in the game, when I think it was DK Metcalf maybe caught like an 84-yard bomb from Geno Smith. But the rest of it was just slow. New Orleans defense is really good. Jameis Winston, say whatever you want about him. He gets the job done. And Alvin Kamara, here I am as a bettor. I'm glad I stayed away. I'm looking at the rush yards. The rush yards were way lower than what was expected. And the receiving yards was around 124 or something like that. The receiving game was absolutely insane. That's your week in the NFL. I did want to get out of here. I know Steelers, blah, blah, blah. But Mike Tomlin was asked about the head coaching job at USC and rumors that he wants to go there. And he shut it down in absolute fashion. This is what I like about him. I have not been on board with a lot of his decision making in playoff games especially. But when it comes to being a coach, the way he carries himself, the way he wants the Pittsburgh players to act as a franchise, I loved everything about it. But really, when it comes to the press conferences in front of the media, Mike Tomlin does not bullshit around. He tells you how it is, and I'm going to try and piece together, improvise what he said. Today he said, "That's an absolute joke to me about the job. Why would I leave this job? I have one of the best jobs in sports right now, in North American sports, being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers." He said, "I'm not talking about it anywhere past today. If you have any more questions about this crap, ask me now. I don't see you asking guys like Sean Payton or Andy Reid about this job." And I think he was mostly talking about being a black head coach in the NFL. I could be wrong, but why are they going to him? Just because the Steelers are 3-3? Found it pretty interesting, but I love the way he shuts down the media. Loved everything about it. I think I'm missing another NFL story that I wanted to talk about, but we've run out of time because the World Series starts, kind of soon. The World Series starts at 8:07 tonight, actually, and I can't do it anymore, folks. I can't stay up till midnight. It's too long. It's too much. I thought there was like a counter thing that went on between pitches. Like they just threw that out the window, obviously, and maybe I knew that, but really, I mean, after every pitch, you got to do your routine and you're thinking. I get it. These guys are throwing 90-something. Whether it's a slider, it's going to move this way. It's hard to hit. You got to think of what you're kind of guessing what's going to be thrown. But man, I can't stay up till midnight again. And I probably still will. Grimmer's Take. See ya.